Okay, let's dive into this. You've given us a stack of sources to unpack the story of XRP. And wow, it's seen some serious movement lately.
It really has.
We're looking at, what, a massive 328.8% price jump year over year, hitting around $2.20 here in early June 2025.
Yep, hovering right around there.
Mm.
And number 4 in popularity on Coinbase, which is, pretty notable.
That leap from like 51 cents last year is certainly dramatic.
It really captures the shift, doesn't it? The whole conversation around XRP feels different now.
Absolutely. So our mission here in this deep dive is really to pull out the key insights from these sources you provided. They cover, well, everything: market dynamics, technical signals, fundamental catalysts.
Right. All aimed at helping you understand where XRP might be headed, say, out to mid-2026.
Exactly. So as you said, trading around $2.20, key stats from the sources, yearly 59 billion circulating supply, decent 24-hour volume, about $1.8 billion.
That's right, $1.748 billion. And yeah, while that yearly growth is the big story, the sources definitely remind us, hey, this is still crypto, it's volatile.
Susceptible to dips, those 4-6% pullbacks we've seen recently.
Market factors still play a big role.
So let's look at the technical picture then. June 2025. What are the charts actually telling us right now?
Well, the sources are pointing to a bit of a consolidation phase. The price is tightening up, around $2.15 to $2.17 after that big run.
Okay, tightening up.
But what's really interesting is the mixed signals. If you look at the daily technicals, they're actually leaning towards sell after that recent push.
Okay, short-term caution.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But then you zoom out weekly, monthly charts, and the picture totally flips. It's buy, or even strong buy.
Huh. So short-term pause, but the longer-term vibe is still bullish.
That's exactly how the sources frame it. It suggests what technicians call a coiling phase, like the market's catching its breath, digesting those big gains.
Building energy for the next move, like pulling back a spring.
Precisely. That's a good way to put it.
Got it. So while it's coiling, where are the key price levels we need to keep an eye on? Support, resistance.
Okay, yeah. On the downside, support seems to be holding around $2.02 to $2.08 on the daily. Longer term, the crucial zone is maybe $1.57 to $1.90. That 50-week EMA is down there too, which is key.
Right, that moving average and upside.
Immediate resistance is right near where we are, maybe $2.21, then a bit stronger around $2.25, $2.27, if it clears those.
Then we look higher.
Yeah, targets like $2.37 come into view, pushing towards $2.59, maybe even above $2.65.
Okay, so technically things are tight, but with a kind of long-term bullish tilt. But the fundamentals, that seems to be where the real story is unfolding over the next year, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the absolute biggest piece of news here, according to these sources, was that SEC settlement back in May.
Yes, this was massive. Sources confirm $50 million settled, which is, just way different from the $2 billion the SEC originally wanted.
Or even the $125 million Judge Torres had hinted at for past institutional sales. And crucially, her earlier ruling stood the one saying programmatic sales on exchanges weren't securities.
That part is key.
It really is. And what this means for you listening is that it basically removes this huge regulatory cloud that's been hanging over XRP in the U.S. for years.
Right. The uncertainty factor diminishes.
Exactly. So the expectation is this should boost institutional confidence, make U.S. exchanges more comfortable. It's like a green light for the big U.S. players.
And it seems like institutions are, getting ready. The sources really highlight the buzz around potential U.S. spot XRP ETFs.
Yeah, that's a big one. Polymarket, for instance, has the probability of approval way up there, like 89% by December 2025.
Wow, 89%.
Spot ETFs could be huge drivers, potentially bringing in serious capital. Some projections in the sources talk about $5 to $10 by end of 2025 if they launch well.
$5 to $10 and even higher long term.
Potentially, yeah. Numbers like $17 to $26 get thrown around for the longer term if the market cap really grows. And we're already seeing regulated pathways opening up,
Like the futures ETFs.
Right. The Volatility Shares XRP Futures ETF launched last month. And CME Group announced cash-settled futures. These are the regulated on-ramps institutions need.
So Wall Street's building the plumbing. And beyond ETFs, Ripple's actual network, RippleNet, ODL, that's growing too.
Definitely showing growth. Sources mention over 300 partners on RippleNet. ODL, that's on-demand liquidity for cross-border payments, seeing good traction in places like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Japan, Brazil.
Real-world use cases.
Exactly. Plus other things like Weebus International planning a $300 million XRP reserve and a reported 37% quarter-over-quarter jump in institutional transactions on the XRPL itself in Q2.
Okay, so usage is up, but the XRPL itself is also, upgrading, evolving.
No, yeah, it's not standing still. Big focus on institutional DeFi, compliance, things like permission detexes, domains.
Making it easier for regulated players to use DeFi on the ledger.
That's the idea. Plus, they've integrated core DeFi tools and AMM, an automated market maker right on the network, and a native lending protocol, XLS66
Adding more DeFi capabilities directly.
Mm-hmm. But maybe the most significant upgrade highlighted is the EVM sidechain, launched Q2 this year.
EVM sidechain.
Yeah.
That's about compatibility with Ethereum, right? Attracting those developers.
That's the big play. Make it easy for Ethereum devs and their dApps to come over to the XRPL ecosystem. This could massively expand the use cases beyond just payments.
Diversifying the network's purpose.
Totally. And they've also got this MPT standard multi-purpose token aimed at tokenizing real-world assets. So yeah, strategic moves to create new demand.
It really sounds like they're building out a much broader platform. Now, we should probably acknowledge, even with all this positive stuff, XRP doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Absolutely not. It's still tied to the wider crypto market cycle. Bitcoin's health matters. And macroeconomic stuff, inflation, geopolitics, that can always cause dips.
Always variables to consider. Okay.
Yeah.
But if we put it all together, the technicals, this coiling spring,
Right.
and these potentially huge fundamental catalysts,
The expectation, looking through these sources, is that the fundamentals should provide the push needed to resolve that technical consolidation upwards.
So crunch time. What's the primary projected price range we're seeing for XRP by, say, mid-2026 from this analysis?
Okay, so based on a scenario where these catalysts achieve, let's say, moderate success and adoption continues, the primary target range projected for June 2026 seems to be $3.50 to $6.50.
$3.50 to $6, that's quite a jump from here.
It is. The sources do mention more bullish scenarios too, of course, like $7 to $12, maybe even higher if ETFs get massive inflows or XRPL adoption really explodes, or we get a monster bull run.
And the flip side, a bearish case.
Yeah, if the catalysts kind of fizzle or the broader market tanks, then maybe it stays closer to $1.50 to $2.50.
So those ranges really highlight the ifs and buts, the uncertainties.
Definitely. How much money actually flows into ETFs, how quickly these new XRPL features get adopted, the overall market mood, those are the big unknowns.
Right. So to wrap this up for you listening, key drivers seem to be, number one, that SEC clarity that's huge. Two, the potential institutional money via ETFs and other products. And three, the expanding utility of the XRPL itself with things like the EVM sidechain.
That sums it up well.
And the primary projected range we've distilled for mid-2026, again, is about $3.50 to $6.50.
Yeah.
Hopefully this deep dive gives you a clearer picture of all the factors swirling around XRP right now.
And maybe just one final thought to leave you with. Considering these new technical upgrades like the EVM sidechain, the AMM, how much will XRP's utility, beyond just its role in payments, actually drive its value over the next year or so? Something to think about.